My name is Malcolm James. I work for Deki in Vienna. My position is head of HSSE Innovations and Projects, but I have some other roles as well. It's a small company and somebody just fell over the light again. Our company is a new company, quite small, but we're into computer vision, which is really highly technical for most companies. We work around AI vision systems. We use the existing CCTV networks that most companies have on their sites, and we use that to detect HSE, or in the American case, OSHA issues, such as people wearing the correct PPE, that they're properly working in a safe manner, that they're wearing all the correct PPE that's required. And it looks a little bit like Mission Impossible. We develop a system that looks for bare skin or the correct gloves and face masks or whatever, and we automate that report. At the present time, most of that is done manually by one person watching cameras in some remote location. The problem with that is, after 20 minutes, not really seeing anything, whereas our system works 24/7 and will not miss incidents. Kind of detection rate that we guarantee is around 98%. So we miss 2%. A manual person will miss 80%. So it's a huge improvement in this. And from a safety point of view, the companies need the assurance that they're as compliant as they can be. It also can reduce their costs because they don't need to have a man watching cameras anymore 24/7. And they also then can use the output to suggest improvements to their customers on LNG sites. That's basically what we are doing. Is it just for LNG? No, it is for any operating site that's got people involved with the process, whether that's the customer or it's on the operations side. We can monitor people. So if somebody has an accident and falls down and they're on their own, we can detect that they are falling down. So we call that man down. And that man down means that person, the single person on site, is not abandoned and left to die. We will actually be able to either call emergency services or the management team, whatever the client wants, to make sure that person is not left lying on the floor and to die. That's what we do. In this case, we've been quite lucky. I think we actually got to speak as well. So it was not just acting as a sponsor, which gets our name in amongst all our potential clients anyway, because you see Deki is in the middle of the advertising for this whole conference as a sponsor, because we're a bronze sponsors. We're not one of the serious sponsors of this thing, but we're right in the middle, which is great, you know. And I did quite a long speech in the sessions yesterday, so it was a great opportunity for us to put our name out there as a company. There's a lot of stranded gas in the world, so I think there's, I don't know whether you guys know what stranded gas is, but anyway, stranded gas is where you have a small amount of gas in some, either offshore or onshore, and there's a lot of it that wasn't ever considered to be large enough scale to run an LNG plant for it. But these days we have small LNG plants. It is now going to be possible that these micro or small LNG finds or gas finds they can be developed using small LNG, maybe mobile units that can take the gas out of the ground, liquefy it, use it, and then take it to some point for distribution into a bigger system. But it'll be interesting to see whether that works in the future. I think it will. As for other countries, well, I think there's a lot of gas still being found in many places, onshore and off. So I think floating LNG will continue to expand for sure, but the investment in floating LNG is rather large as compared to onshore installations. But it will continue because there's a lot of gas under the sea, simple as that. So floating LNG will get bigger. Small stranded gas applications will be developed. I believe in the future, perhaps not immediately, but within the next 10 years, you will see a lot of change. Floating LNG is already there and it will continue to grow. That's what I see as the future for LNG. In Mozambique itself, that's it's just one more area that's new. We're bringing the ability to strengthen the market, because at the present time, with the situation in the world right now in the Middle East, we are going to lose some of the gas because the supply is not that diversified. So the more diversity we have from different parts of the world will make the whole network stronger, and we will avoid these large, at this moment, rising in price. It'll keep it more steady. AI is, we deal with AI ourselves, although there's two different parts of AI. AI you can have as a system that learns off the internet, like ChatGPT or things like that, that kind of thing. But companies like Saudi Aramco and Shell and all the other super majors, they're very sensitive to having data put out into a cloud. They protect their data really strong. They do not want to share data with anyone outside or have anyone come in. So I think our way of doing it is edge computing. So we basically put our computers on the client site. We do not export data into the cloud. We do all our processing locally. And I think that's exactly how AI will start to be developed by other oil companies like Saudi Aramco, like others. They will develop their own AI internal. They will not be using ChatGPT, for instance. It's not going to happen because their privacy requirements don't allow it. GDPR is another issue around this, but you can take care of that in our case because we have computer vision. We pixelate out faces, so you don't know who that person is unless you want to know who that person is. So you can do it that way also. More automation, definitely. Automation will also keep on growing. AI will be part of that, as we discussed on the previous question. AI will only be used to improve their on-site exposure to the technology, but automation will continue to be improved. That means you'll have less and less people involved with the process. You will also then start using systems like ours for monitoring things like safety on site. Instead of sending someone out to look whether the site is running safely, they will actually then still be using auto-generated reports from systems like ours. Will it just be ours? No, there will be others. They will have their own internal developments of this kind of vision system, but they do not have our technology at this moment to be able to do what we do. But that's how I see it going, that they will grow their own AI vision systems, for instance. The cost of building LNG plants is extreme, because most of them are in the 8 million ton per annum kind of range for one process line, if you like. And that's a pretty expensive, pretty large investment. So I see the smaller scale ones coming in, say in the hundreds of millions, not the billions, will be where the future will be, into the smaller scale LNG. Will it be micro scale? Maybe, but I think in general they will be using LNG in the smaller sizes, so maybe in the 2 million ton per annum range instead of the 8 million ton per annum range, which we currently tend to use on most of the big sites. Is that the only development? Probably not. I think we will probably see other mobile units starting to be deployed in the future, which will be good. But there's another one that, while we have pipelines connecting the LNG systems from sometimes thousands of kilometers away, there will be an opportunity to actually take a stream off that gas supply and turn it into LNG locally. So instead of transporting LNG, you send the gas down a pipeline and then you liquefy it nearby where you're going to use it and store it there as well. So you'll be able to distribute from different parts of the world, different countries maybe, so that they're able to distribute their LNG locally, produce it locally, and keep it for potential interruptions of supply. That's what I think. I don't know whether I'm right. I think that is the future. I've been doing this for 50 years. I have a kind of a background on how things go, but no. Am I always right? Definitely not. Yeah, for sure. As I said, this is the first time we've ever been to the LNGCON. We went to Otoma in October in Amsterdam, which was excellent. We also had a good time there. But for us, we've made more contacts here in one day than we did in all the days that we were in Otoma, because it's more focused on the areas of business that we can really assist with. And that's the benefit for us, has been, we didn't know what LNGCON was going to give to us either. So it's been very good for us to learn and meet the other people. We've met a lot, and a lot of interest in our product, which is fantastic. We have to turn it into business now, but okay, that's up to us.